Hello everyone, and thanks so much for all the support with all of my videos and everybody who has subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'm very appreciative of all your support. Today I'd like to speak about the central bank warning of risks to our corporate tax revenue. They have estimated that up to 15 billion euro of our tax revenue was at risk because of geopolitical factors and the pending Trump presidency in the United States, where Trump has already spoken about cutting the corporation tax in the US to 15%, perhaps lower, and putting tariffs on goods coming in from the European Union of up to 20%, not to mention what could happen in China with 50 or 60% tariffs. Now, because of these geopolitical risk factors that the Irish governments have been always talking about, and their lackeys in the central bank have been speaking about as well, they have said that up to 15 billion of our corporate tax revenue is at risk. Now, we've seen in Ireland over the last 10 years a huge reliance on foreign direct investment, multinationals, in terms of our corporate tax base. Since 2014, our corporation tax has increased by over 700%, nearly 30 billion this year. Now, it is estimated that the amount of taxation is going to come under serious risk because of the policies and the geopolitical factors. But what they don't tell you is about why it's happening, because this has been successive governments' response to the drive towards multinationals, the drive towards foreign direct investment, rather than building a strong domestic, resilient economy. Because this has all been the neoliberal agenda, all being pursued by the European Union and the lackeys in the Irish government. Much the same as now as they're talking about trying to broaden the tax base because of this. Now, this is interesting because already the inequalities in Irish society have suffered because of these policies. 1 in 8 people in Ireland are in poverty. Facts are 1 in 5 children in Ireland are in deprivation. This is at the same time when there's an exponential amount of wealth in Ireland. According to the International Monetary Fund, we're the fourth wealthiest country in the world according to GDP, which we know is fundamentally based on leprechaun economics and has no basis in fact with the real lived experiences of most people. And at the same time, the top 1% of the population in Ireland accumulate 15% of the wealth, while the bottom 50% have less than 5% of the total wealth. So you can see inequalities deepening because of this corporate tax haven model and because of the policies that favour the very rich at the expense of ordinary people domestically here in Ireland. But again, the central bank have talked about trying to put money into long-term savings funds and the sovereign wealth fund. Now, this was created a couple of years by the Irish government to try and build towards future investment and future infrastructural challenges. Now, there is a climate and infrastructure fund which is estimated to be upwards of 14 billion euro has to be put into it, and the sovereign wealth fund is 100 billion euro has to be put in. Now, currently the amounts this year, I think, that the central bank are talking about are 8 billion into this wealth fund and 2 billion into the infrastructure fund. Not to mention the huge amount of money that's being transferred every day in our national debt. 45,000 euro for every man, woman and child in Ireland is our national debt figure, and rising day by day. So again, we've one of the most indebted countries in the world, and at the same time all under the watch of the Irish political establishment. But what they will say is that it's down to Trump. It's down to other factors outside our control. It's because of their global open economy that has led to this, rather than having a strong, resilient domestic economy. And why has this been? This has been because of the liberalisation and deregulation of the market, the selling off of our natural resources through the European Union and the privatisation agenda, which is causing such havoc in Irish society to more and more people. And while at the same time we've had all those multitude of crises, we've had the absolute catastrophe of the housing and homeless disaster, where at the sharpest end 40 people died in the streets of Dublin last year, and then at the sharpest end you've seen the immigration chaos with upwards of 5 million euro every day being transferred into private hands for the immigration industry. And who benefits? Central bank report again, looking for cheap labour. We're looking at an increased population up to 6 million by 2030. We're looking at an ageing population, and at the same time, who's going to pay for that? It's going to be work harder, work longer, and more productivity. The central bank even said a couple of weeks ago that they should be extending the retirement age. And of course, why is this? Because to keep the profits going and to keep the greasy profit machine going, much the same as the warmongering machine of the European Union empire is becoming. We're becoming the same, where workers' pay and conditions are being eroded. Ireland's a low-wage economy. 1 in 5 workers are on low pay, and this is at the same time they're looking for cheap migrant labour to come into Ireland, creating more havoc for ordinary working class people, most of all in terms of pressure on services, pressure on housing, pressure on their jobs, and so many pressures getting by day to day, which leads to the sharpest end to poverty and deprivation in the figures that I've just mentioned. Now, what we need is an Ireland that serves the needs of our people, where the resources and the industries serve the interests of the people. We have highly educated, highly trained, highly innovative people here in Ireland to build a strong domestic economy. But of course, the Irish political establishment will show their cowardice and show their inadequacy in dealing with the crises we face by saying it's factors outside our control. It's because under their stewardship, under their watch, this has led to these crises, that has left us open to all these international shocks. Did any of these politicians learn anything from 2008? It seems not, when you think about Micheál Martin, who said that this never happened. The bankers never got bailed out. But of course, what would you expect from such sellout political leaders in Ireland that are more interested in bowing down to their masters in Brussels and Washington DC than serving the interests of the people here in Ireland? So thanks a lot for the support of all my videos. If you like my videos, please press subscribe, and thanks so much for sharing my videos also as well. I'm very grateful. So take care, and from Dublin, Slán. Bye bye.